Hello, how are we? So just got back in from the weigh-ins, the PFL Championship here in Washington, and all that's said to do now is to have the fights tomorrow night. Thanksgiving here in DC. Brought the fam out with me, so it's my son's birthday today, so I got to spend the morning with him, which is good, just something I'm very thankful for. Thankful to be out here with the PFL. This is a special event. This is the first championship I have done for the PFL, and it does feel different. It does feel different from other MMA events. These guys and girls tomorrow night are not only competing for championships, but they're competing for $1 million. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I know you could look at other athletes, look at people in UFC who are main eventing and getting more than that. I get it. But for these athletes to come through this season and to be getting this paycheck is huge. Very few MMA fighters make $1 million in a fight. It's really, a rarity. Some of these guys, look at Impa Kasanganai. He was on the Challenger Series this year. He won that. He got a place in the season, and now tomorrow night he's fighting for $1 million. Some of these fighters could be on other cards. They could make 100 grand, 200 grand. Some could get 30 grand. Look at a beginning wage in the UFC, and it's not that much. It takes a while to kind of step through and get cash. But these competitors, again, Impa's a prime example. At the start of this year, he was a fighter who was really having to prove himself. And that's why he went on a Challenger Series. And he did prove himself, and he got the opportunity. And now, tomorrow night, he could not only become the PFL World Champion, but he could make $1 million. That's crazy. That's crazy. Another thing that I've learned to love about the PFL, the whole season format, is that anyone can win on the night. Anyone can have a good night while their opponent has a bad night and you can win. But to win the PFL Championship, you've got to have a great season. You've got to have 4 great performances to get here. Someone once gave me a sort of analogy that winning a World Cup in football is, there's a relatively small amount of games to win that. Whereas if you win a Premier League season, there's so many games, you have to be consistently good throughout the whole season to win. In the World Cup, it's getting a small number of performances to be good, and you win. Whereas in the Premier League, there's so many games to win. You have to truly be the best team, and I think in PFL, that's the case. That's the case. None of these athletes who are going to walk away with championships tomorrow night, they're not just having a good night. They've had to have a good year. And the turnaround time, man, that's so tough. Tyson Fury, he fought in Ghana at the end of October and was supposed to fight mid-ish December. And after his fight against Ngannou, he said, no, I'm not fighting in 8 weeks' time. I need a few months. These fighters, man, their last fights were in August, end of August. And before that, it was a couple of months earlier. Before that, it was in April. These guys have fought back to back, recoveries, camps, everything. So truly to win tomorrow night, you have to prove you're the best. You have to prove that you've been consistently good all year. All those championship fights have great stories. Impa, I think, really stands out for me. He really stands out for me in terms of his journey. I think it could be a fairy tale for him tomorrow. But again, it's not an easy task. Josh has also been incredible all season. Kayla Harrison, very much looking forward to seeing her back in action. She's spoken a lot in the journey to this fight about going away and sort of reassessing some priorities, about being a mother, about she's never had to do this. She's never had a layoff. She was training twice a day from, I think, 12 years old. And then for the last 10 months or so, for a large portion of that, she was just training once a day, which is a lot. But for her, it felt like she was on downtime. For the first time in her career, she was a training partner. She's been helping others get ready within her camp, but now it's her turn. So yeah, it's exciting to see her back. Her nemesis, shall we say, Larissa Pacheco, is going to try and make history, becoming the first two-weight PFL champion. And it's hard to bet against her. Let's be frank. She has been so dominant over the past 12 months that it's hard to bet against her. That card, top to tail, really it's exciting, man. And I think the atmosphere tomorrow night in the Anthem is going to be special. It's sold out. We're going to be live on pay-per-view, and I think everyone in that building knows the enormity of that night. 6 World Championships. $6 million checks being handed out. That's life-changing. Life-changing. And not only the money, but the status that comes with that championship. And everything that PFL is doing, growing and expanding as a company, I think becoming a PFL champion is becoming more and more important, prestigious. And we'll see what next year brings. But I think those who are winning this year and becoming PFL champions, there's going to be a lot on their table of opportunities for them next year. So yeah, it's a special night. Do come and join us. The Bellator stuff with PFL, I think that's interesting. I think a lot of people were questioning why PFL would want to buy Bellator. It seemed like Showtime was giving up on combat sports with the boxing going, with MMA going. So what was there to buy? But you hear what Don Davies has said. You hear the reason behind it. Smart. It's a stock deal. It's not like they paid loads of money for this thing, but now they've got a brand, which is great. I definitely think the brains behind PFL can make it greater than it's ever been. I think they can take what PFL has, what Bellator has built, make it really special. I'll be honest, I don't think Bellator has been its best for several years now. But I know the guys behind PFL can really draw some life into it. And I think now the athletes they'll have got with PFL and Bellator coming together, it's strong. There's a lot of good matchups there. I think Don was saying they want to do more sort of, that's going to be their one-off fight brand, shall we say. We've got the PFL seasons, where you got to compete multiple times, and then we have these pay-per-views, and then there's Bellator, kind of these international one-off events. I think whatever fighter you are under this banner, however you want to handle your fights, where you want to fight twice a year or 4 or 5 times a year, I feel like now with the Bellator brand coming across, I think it's reached some good options for people. It's exciting to see what happens next year. So yeah, as you can probably tell, a little bit tired after a few long days here in DC. Tomorrow night, it's going down. It is going down. $6 million being handed out here in Washington, DC. ESPN Plus pay-per-view around the world. I'm not too sure. I'll be honest with you, probably on DAZN. Go and check it out. It's also nice to be back here with the crew, I'll be honest with you. It's nice to be back out here with Manny, George, Randy, Kenny, Dan, Sean. I love Sean. No, it's good to be out with this team, man. They're so good at what they do. They're such nice people. It's a warming experience to get to work with these guys. I feel very fortunate. It's Thanksgiving. Feeling very thankful. I do feel thankful to get to work with these guys. I've got to work with so many cool people in my career, but this team they just know what they're doing. They're good people. Going out for Thanksgiving dinner tonight. I've already had Thanksgiving dinner, by the way. My first one over here in the States with the family and some friends we've got here in DC. I had that earlier today, and now I'm going for another one with the PFL crew over here. So it's maximum weight gain. A maximum weight gain here in DC. So please do come and join the fights. I'll be interested to know your picks. Anyone who's got any picks, let me know. Hit me up in old socials. I think a lot of those fights are 50-50, man. I think a lot of them are 50-50s. I do know they're going to be exciting. Look at the pay-per-view cards. Look who's on there. Got Derek Brunson, Kahela, Biagio Ali Walsh. I tell you what, Biagio, I know it's an amateur fight, but you look back at, I mean, there's no difference when I'm sitting there. Those guys, Biagio really showed me something interesting last time. His striking was on point, which you kind of expect from an Ali. Yeah, so tomorrow night, PFL Championships. Boom. Hope you all had a good Thanksgiving wherever you are. And peace.